Hey guys, thanks for joining me. This video idea came about the other day because I have two cats and I was spending some time with my cats and I was just thinking, man, like this is just so soothing and calming. Thinking of like sitting alongside a river brook or something, or just by the ocean hearing the waves crash. It's so calming. I noticed to sit and just spend time with my cat. And this isn't probably just exclusive to cats. I believe it's dogs and a lot of other kind of pets people might have as well. But it really got me thinking. I started to think, well, if this is the case, and if I feel calm, then I bet a lot of other people do as well. So I decided to kind of do a little research on it out of my own curiosity, but also to share it with people because I think that a pet, whether it's a cat or a dog, could be, or even birds, whatever you may fancy, that they can be very therapeutic in as far as having a lot of health benefits. So I did some research on that, and that research that I've done is what I'm going to present to you today in this video here. So what I'll do is I'm going to discuss a little bit about cats, a little bit about dogs, and just some of it's just pets in general. And if you don't have a cat or a dog or a bird or a turtle or a frog or whatever, and you suffer from anxiety or depression, this may push you into wanting to get one. So I've noticed that my cats always seem to sense when I'm in a state, whether it's sad. I've had times where I remember being a kid, crying or something, and the cat would be right by my side, or just times where you've had a really stressful day, anxiety. It's almost like they can just kind of sense that something's going on with you, and so it's almost like they come to soothe or comfort you, and just spend time with you, which I've noticed, but I haven't really seen it as, pets are great and everything, but I hadn't really seen it as such a therapeutic thing in the past. So they come spend time with you, which is huge. But what I also looked up and discovered, which surprised me, actually a friend had mentioned it to me, and then I researched it to verify it, is that the cats actually purr at a frequency for healing. And this helps with like inflammation. It can help with lowering blood pressure. It can do a lot of different things as far as healing. I know a lot of people with anxiety and depression, sometimes comorbid with that is some other ailment. But healing in general is what we all want to do. We all can heal something. So I found that really fascinating that the purr is at this certain frequency. It's the healing frequency. And perhaps God blessed us with pets so that we could have, just some comfort through that. Like, I don't know. It's almost like, I don't know. You get a massage, you do certain things. Well, a cat chilling with you purring also brings health benefits as well. And studies have shown that petting a cat, and I imagine this to be true with dogs as well, lower blood pressure, and also reduce stress. They've actually done studies on it that do show that. So there is science to back that up. It's not just you don't just hear about an emotional support animal and it's kind of like, well, they just don't want to be alone. No, there's actual studies there that do back that up. Now, one thing with dogs that I wanted to bring up, because this is in particular to them, is that they do require you to walk them. And people that suffer from depression, now this probably wouldn't be so for somebody with agoraphobia or something along those lines, but people that do suffer from depression, generally one of the things that therapists and stuff will recommend, or just self-help, is to get out and walk, to move around, to experience the world again, to, whether it's, even if you're in the city, you're just getting out, but if you could do it through nature, it's even better. But they force you to get out and walk, which gives you that motivation. It's so easy for us to say, no, I don't want to today, or I'll do it tomorrow, but the dog won't allow you to say that. The dog will insist, or will make a mess. So that's a positive for dogs. Now, pets in general, what I wanted to do is I wanted to mention one of the biggest things, and it kind of goes along with dogs, but it can apply to any pet, is that it forces you to start keeping a routine because, they need to be fed, they need, cages cleaned, they need to be cat boxes, whatever it may be. It forces you every day to stay on a routine, which is more consistent. Just keeping a routine is supposed to be good for helping anxiety and depression. So by forcing you to be able to do that and to stay in that routine, because you have to get up to do that to take care of somebody else, it benefits dramatically. It's keeping that routine. So that's another reason that I wanted to mention. And you're also, when you're caring for them, forced you're forced to focus on something outside of yourself. It's a lot of times with depression or anxiety, we can get so inner focused because we're just trying to deal and sort out all these problems we have. But when you're doing something, you're caring for another animal or even petting them or comforting, you're actually forced to get outside of yourself and get out of your head because they depend on you. So by that, you automatically get rid of the depression, but you also feel dependent on. You feel needed. So that is a big component for depression. Just wanting to be needed. Everybody wants to be needed. So it's a feel good that way, and it's the feel good also comes from just the way the pets love you. They're such unconditional lovers that there's nothing. I've never heard of somebody really getting anything but unconditional love from an animal. So I think that's huge. I think that's huge because it's hard not to smile when you're exchanging that with your pet, and it just feels good to be able to do that. Another thing that I wanted to mention is companionship. A lot of people that are depressed isolate. Anxiety can cause you to isolate as well. So you have that companionship, and it soothes loneliness through that. You're able to again focus outside of yourself, but you just have somebody that cares for you, somebody that depends on you, or not somebody, but it depends on how you view animals. I guess I view them as little furry people, but but it does help soothe that loneliness. It's nice, to have a friend at home waiting for you when you come home. If you live alone and you're coming home from work or whatever you might be out doing, it's just nice to know that there's another beating heart inside of that house that's waiting for you. And I think that's especially important if you live alone. So basically those are some things that I came up with off the top of my head and a little bit of research and the friend pointing out about the cats purring. But I think those are all good reasons to perhaps adopt a pet. And depending on where you live, I mean, there's other kinds of pets you can have that might be not a cat or a dog. And if you're in an apartment or something, depending on what your lease rules are, there might be options. So if you do decide to go get a pet, if you don't already have one, I would definitely recommend adopting at a shelter. Save a life while you're at it, make you feel good again. I just think that's huge to be able to save a life that way. Plus, if you already do have a pet, I think it's important that you realize that just sometimes when you're having a bad day and going and spending a little bit of time in their presence can really help ease that day down. So that's it. Not a long video, but just a few points that had come to mind that I really thought about, and they feel really valid to me. They feel really, they seem to make a lot of sense to me. And I just noticed it, and I wanted to compile it and put it into words for people. So thank you for watching that. I would like to ask if anybody would like to support this channel here. There's a couple ways you can do that. Actually, a few ways you can do that. One way would be to support me through Patreon. I want to thank Jocelyn for supporting me. She was my first Patreon. Thank you so much. It's huge to me to be able to be supported like that, to have somebody say they care enough to invest a little money into me continuing to make these videos, as well as to hopefully provide a way for me to get some means, some means to an end, some things in my life that I might need, because I am disabled, unable to work because of pain and chronic fatigue and anxiety, a mess of problems. So I have body weakness. It's hard to do much. So I do appreciate that, Jocelyn. Thank you very much. Thank you to anybody else that's considering doing it. That's one way to support me. The other way that you can support me that won't cost you a dime is to like the video here, to comment on it, to subscribe to my channel, and then to share this video with friends, especially if you think somebody could benefit from it. So that's all for this week. I appreciate you all tuning in, and have a good week.